Hello and welcome to this informal fireside chat with Mother Whitehall. We are going to be oversharing at Netflix's request. Are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
Where and when was your first kiss and who was it with?
It was probably at nursery school with a boy called, this is I think a real person, Timothy Lyle, who was to do with the Tate and Lyle sugar family. My memory of it was that it was quite traumatic because we had a kiss and then I seem to remember he hit me over the head with a plastic guitar.
Timothy Lyle.
If I'm honest, I remember the plastic guitar whack more than the kiss, but yeah, I think it was, yeah. What's the weirdest thing you've done when you were alone? Apart from the obvious thing.
Yeah, okay, I'll go there.
I definitely don't want to go there. I've done quite a weird thing when I was alone at home once.
So you're going to take this one as well?
Yeah, no, well I'll just take this one because you haven't come up with an instant answer.
Okay. Was it with Timothy Lyle and that plastic guitar?
Okay, Timothy Lyle was not involved. No, this was, I do remember once being alone in that, we'd had Sunday lunch, you'd all gone off for a walk with Daddy and I was clearing up and I'd stripped the carcass of the chicken and I'd put all the nice little tidbits in the dog's bowl, which I've got to confess that I probably didn't wash. And about 10 minutes later I was walking past said bowl and I thought, I quite like the look of that bit of chicken. I think I'll have that. So I picked it out of the dog's bowl, the dirty dog's bowl that was on the floor waiting for the dog to come back for the tidbits, and ate the chicken.
That's pretty grim.
Have you ever had a bad trip, and with what? Now, I'm not sure whether that means a trip to a place or a trippy trip.
Trippy trip.
A trippy trip. I don't define trip.
Well, let's define it as a bad trip, as in a journey. Yes.
Okay.
Many times because I get car sick. I'm sure that's what the question
the
intent of it was.
Yep.
And they clearly have a theme. Have you ever tried any psychedelics? If so, what was it like?
Okay, well, I have never tried any psychedelics, but I did have a very weird experience with some weedy puff. No, what do you call it?
No, definitely not that.
You definitely did once call it that.
Marijuana.
The marijuana. This was a story which Daddy and I went to stay with some people in the country. And after supper, these people who we didn't actually know that well, they were friends of friends. So we were sort of bumming a night off them because they were friends of friends. And they got out some Coke after dinner and said, we know about you London media types. And we both went, oh, no, really, no, definitely not. No, thank you so much, but really not. At which point they proceeded to do what you do with Coke. Daddy then went to bed. He was so horrified by the whole thing. I stayed up because I'm polite and you know I never like to offend. And then they got out a spliff and said, look, you've got a terrible cold. And I literally was sort of streaming cold. And they said, the spliff will really help you sleep. And I said, okay. So I then took a couple of tokes on the spliff and then I was trying to get the thing to burn quicker and blowing on it when they weren't looking and all of that. And I thought, I'm doing pretty well here. This is all going fine. But off I went to bed, went up to the bedroom where Daddy was actually not asleep. And he said, what the hell was that all about? And I went, shh, shh, shh. He said, what's the matter? I said, it's bugged. The room is bugged. They're listening to us. You have to be quiet. Shh. And I then spent the rest of the night looking for these imaginary bugs around the room. So clearly whatever was, I literally had got so paranoid. That was a one-off for me. I thought I'm never doing this again. I can't believe that they're even asking me to ask you that.
Absolutely no way you're asking that question.
No, nor would I want to know the answer to that question if I'm honest.
Within 1 week?
Within 1 week.
How many people can someone sleep with before you secretly judge them for their number?
It depends what decade you were born, I guess.
Well, your decade.
What, my decade? This is a question to me?
Yes.
Sorry, I grew up in the liberal 70s where if you didn't sleep with a couple of people a week, you were considered to be weird. So, not a great question for me. Nowadays, I think we live in different sort of times. Not acceptable.
Not acceptable.
No.
But back in the day.
back in the day it was acceptable.
With Timothy Lyle.
No, I was 3 at the time
Oh.
with Timothy Lyle. Kevin Ligo?
Okay,
I'm not sure that we ever did, actually.
No.
But
Have you ever kissed a girl and did you like it? Don't answer that.
I mean, definitely not.
Okay.
I mean, well,
Not even
having
that
said
night when
that,
you'd had a bit too much of that.
no. Having said that, you know what they say?
What?
You should embrace everything in life, so you never know. I mean, I was a little bit vociferous on that because I'm open to any experience, if I'm honest, but just haven't told your father that. I don't even understand this question. Have you ever been catfished? What does that mean?
It's when you go on a date with someone you think they're going to look like one thing and then they turn up and something
Right.
very different. So
Okay, so have you ever been catfished?
not to that extent, but I've certainly been misled.
Okay.
Have you ever publicly peed yourself and why?
I mean, I'm the mother of 3 children. I've given birth to 3 children on a regular basis. You know, once you've had children, those pelvic floors are quite unreliable. Obviously, I've worked hard to improve them, but so I don't think that's a silly question
No.
because yes,
Not ashamed at all
I
to share
have
that.
many times.
Probably going now.
Do you pee in the shower?
Yeah. Do I not pee in the shower? I don't think I've ever had a shower and not peed. I'll pee in the shower all the time.
I mean-
I'll pee in the shower even if I'm not having a shower. I'll just open the door. You don't have to be having a shower to pee in the shower. Have you re-gifted a gift to someone?
I mean, again, this is a ridiculous.
And who was it?
Yeah, this is a ridiculous question. As you know, after every Christmas, I replenish what's known as the present drawer.
I've re-gifted a gift to the person who gave me the gift.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not good.
No. I do make
I gave
lists.
us like a sponge bag. What was your impression of Michael Whitehall when you were dating? Well, you thought he was gay.
I did, because he was wearing a white suit. I mean, it was
And
early 80s. We're
He was
talking
in
bit of a throwback from...
theatre and
Yeah. He drove a Jaguar XJS.
And he was sleeping with quite a lot of men at the time, so
Yeah, that was a bit of a giveaway.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly.
pointed to that.
Yeah. No, it was the white suit that did it. I thought, who would go out in public in that suit? But
This is such a dark question. At any point did you regret having children?
Is this to me?
Yes!
I mean, that is a ludicrous question. I mean, there were a couple of nights when you were all newborn when I thought, oh my God, is this child ever going to sleep? What have I done? Because let's face it, babies do not come with instruction manuals.
I would actually say when I watched you on stage getting gyrated on by Magic Mike, I regretted that you had children.
If the zombie apocalypse happened and you had to choose between me and your father.
You. Sorry,
Okay.
I should have taken a bit longer to...
Okay, and I didn't even finish the question, so okay, thank you, that's a great answer. Yep.
Although, that said, if I picked Daddy, he could blend in with the zombies. You know, like when you're trying to survive a zombie attack, you have to pretend to be a zombie. Daddy wouldn't have to do anything. They'd think he was one of their own. What's the first thing you'd do if you woke up one day and you were the opposite sex?
Oh, that's a tricky one. Well, I'd be thrilled about having a beard, whereas at the moment, as a 60-year-old woman, I'm not thrilled about having a beard.
Give it 10 years.
Can I just say that is God's revenge on women. He gives them facial hair once they hit the menopause. I mean, I would let the beard grow and think I'd embrace the beard.
This question, have you ever had a three?
Have I ever watched it?
I can't even finish it.
Okay,
If I never know the answer to that question, I will die a happy person.
okay. Just, no, come on, just...
Have you ever had a threesome with complete strangers? It's not like even having a threesome would be enough with complete strangers.
Just going to say...
If you say yes to
Just
this,
gonna say-
I can never talk to you again, or look at you again, or ever be in the same room as you again.
Okay, just going to say, I was a teenager, early 20s, in the 70s, liberal 70s. Just going to say.
I thought we got through it without gaining any knowledge that will trouble me for the rest of my life, and then at the last moment, you planted that
what can I
image in
say?
my head.
What can I say?
I think I need some weed.
The 70s were fun.
I'm going to smoke some weed.
Okay, I think that's a good note to end on.
Yeah, I think it's a very good note to end our relationship on. We may never speak again. Thanks, Netflix. Why did you do this? I can't shut my eyes, because if I shut my eyes, I'll have the image in my head. So I will now have my eyes open for the rest of my life, which may not be very long.
Like a snake.
Yes, like a snake.